Welcome aboard, Naoma. This is our boat tour video.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
So this is the V-berth. This is where I sleep. I sleep alone up here because I'm kind of a bed hog. He went to the other end of the boat. We made these lee cloths before we left. These are great shelves and they stack a lot of stuff, but without a lee cloth they would fall right over. I don't know if you can see it. Weave and stove food, oats. Food is everywhere pretty much on this boat. We share one small closet full of our clothes and shoes, which isn't very much. This pile right here, Ryan's pile, this is clothes that he's worn but aren't that stinky yet. The stinky clothes get stored right down here.
Safety is by far the #1 most important thing to me on the boat. Every single cabin on this boat has a fire extinguisher, and it has an emergency flashlight with fresh batteries in it, and every cabin has a smoke alarm. We also have smoke alarms in every section of the boat that has an excessive amount of electronic equipment or mechanical gear.
Welcome to our salon. Kite gear, kite gear, kite gear, kite boards, kite gear harnesses. It drives me nuts having this stuff out, but now that I'm getting into kiting, I understand why we're doing this. Why take the time every day to store them in an area that takes 15-20 minutes to store when we can just have it out here?
This is our mast. We have a very big mast.
We get to pass this every day, so if you can see this. Here's our mast and all our names of a lot of our patrons. So thank you.
When you're out there alone, you know, for weeks sometimes, it really feels good to look up and sort of see the tribe, you know, see the family. So thank you.
Patrons, you rock. Thank you.
You'll see throughout the boat there's all kinds of things that we've rigged to make sure stuff stays where it needs to be, even if the boat gets knocked down like it did on our passage from Mexico.
One of the most essential things that we have are fans. Fan number 1, 2, 3. These were one of our cool installs. 4, 5. Some cool things about a boat are all the little areas that you have storage. More food, cans, and some other dried goods. Perfect spot.
Nicole, she's big into turtles, honus. You know, this was a honu from home that I made her for her birthday one year. I thought I was just this master carpenter. This boat is rigged for being underway. It's not really designed just for picnic cruises on the bay. You'll see all over the boat there's handheld, which make it easy to move around even if the boat is moving. This section here turns into a bunk that has a lee cloth. It makes it easy to sleep when you're underway. This is actually primarily where I edit the videos from. Some of you guys had some interesting reactions to where I was shaving my balls in the last video, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if they only saw the stuff that we didn't put in the video. I did not wax my ass crack, primarily because we don't have wax strips. And
that's not true. I have wax strips.
I did not wax my ass crack because my good friend Joel did that at a party before we left, so he gets the claim on that one.
We're back in the galley, and this is pretty much my zone. Pretty good space actually for 38 foot boat. Fire blanket, and we hang it in the doorway so it's easy access for me to grab just in case. Right under here is our refrigerator, and look what I found the other day, which I was very excited. Broccoli, actually pretty firm, so I was stoked. $4.25 for this little guy. One of the things that I forgot that we purchased actually right before we left, and I'm so glad we did, because for about 8 months our refrigerator broke. This guy right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's an angle, and this is a deep freezer, and it's awesome. It runs off of DC power and doesn't use a lot of power, so it use a lot of amperage, so it's so nice to have.
We have foot pumps that activate freshwater and saltwater. That lets you save the freshwater, which is precious underway. So you can use saltwater to wash stuff and then give it a quick freshwater rinse. The freshwater foot pump also makes it possible that if you lose power or electricity, you still have access to the water on the boat. The stove has a neat feature to it. When you're underway and the boat is rocking and rolling, the stove pivots like this so that whatever's on the stove stays upright more or less and doesn't spill. It also clamps that go on and can hold the pots in place. So almost no matter what weather you're in, you can cook just about anything on the stove safely. In the Galley, we have controls that let you shut off the flow of gas to the stove. If there's a fire, you can disconnect the fuel for that fire and hopefully prevent it from spreading much further. There's all kinds of places in the Galley for storing food and dishes and things like that. There's no microwave, there's no coffee maker. It's 2 burners and a refrigerator and a little space to prepare food in. And it's great.
Let's take a peek in the head. You ever get a boat or you have a boat, I highly recommend a fan in the head. It's really nice to have.
This fan is bitchin'. I can't tell you how rad it is to be able to take a leak and have this fan cooling you down at the same time. This was genius. I'm not getting emotional about it, but I really love this fan. Calf Remo, thumbs up, good job. We're actually gonna go buy a few more next time we're back in the United States so that we have spares.
We also do have a shower on board, but we don't use it for a shower. We use it to store our kite gear and all other kinds of stuff. So same thing like I did with the shelves. And we put this in here and we can stack everything up and we have all the storage. We have a lot of fins on board. So look what we did. We even used the door to store stuff.
I really like this feature. At nighttime, night vision is really important. So if you use a white light, you lose your night vision, but red light doesn't have that problem. Red light preserves your night vision. So most of the lights on this boat, when you first turn them on, they're red. And then if you turn them off and turn them back on again, then they're white.
Welcome to the nav station. I think Ryan's gonna go in more detail with this.
From here, you can operate almost all the electronics. You can communicate with pretty much the entire world. We have the ability to communicate via long distance radio, which actually bounces the signals off of the ionosphere up in the upper atmosphere and then back down to a place on the Earth, you know, even on the other side of the Earth sometimes, which is, I think, fantastic. It works extremely well. We can even use it for email. This is a radio that's used for more local communications, boat to boat. This is a phone that, it's a satellite phone actually, but it works pretty well. The big danger on a boat with electronics is fire. So every system on this boat has a fuse, and most of them also have circuit breakers, and we use wires of the correct size to be able to handle the expected amount of electricity that's going to go through the wire. That keeps them from getting hot and catching fire and so forth. This panel is a big part of that because it lets us disconnect the power if we suspect that there's a fire somewhere down the line. And it has, each switch is actually a circuit breaker which will pop if too much power is going through that line. We have B&G Zeus chart plotter, which is fantastic with Navionics charts. That is our primary navigation system when we're actually moving. We have OpenCPN on a PC and on a Macintosh. And we also have iSailor on an iPad, and those are our backup nav systems. There's the way we get the data into the system. The Zeus, B&G Zeus, has its own GPS antennas. It's sort of its own system. But we also have 2 separate mounted GPS systems that are all networked together. So I can select which GPS I want to provide power to 2 different sort of distribution hubs. They're called multiplexers, which connect a bunch of different instruments together and share the information. So what I'm saying in a really long-winded way is we have Wi-Fi on board that is specifically just to share navigation information. So the Zeus sends out a Wi-Fi signal that lets me control any of the navigation instruments from an iPad. And we also have a navigation we have all the navigation information from the other 2 mounted GPSs going into a multiplexer, which is distributed out via Wi-Fi that I can use on iPad or a computer with different applications than is available on the Zeus. And also we have a hardwired multiplexer that I can plug into the computer if we lose one of the Wi-Fi systems. I just got way too technical. I'll put links for all of this down below if you're interested. Underway at certain times every day, I would check in with Hawaii or with California or something over the long distance radio and sort of say, hey, we're good and here's where we are. I spent a lot of time planning where we're going to go next, analyzing weather, making decisions like that offshore.
That's our nav station. Now we're aft, and we're in the aft cabin, Ryan's cabin. It's a little bit like a cave. We took the mattress and we cut it. We had it cut. We took all these bins There's 5 of them, and these are all boat parts that we need. And then we also have our ditch bag here, super easy access.
If the boat is going to sink, this kit has you know, essential stuff that'll help us survive.
This is where we have the water maker.
Basically, it takes seawater and converts it into fresh water. Without this, we wouldn't be able to stay out in the places as remote as we're going for as long as we go. So this is a key. This is a huge ticket to freedom right here, is the water maker.
We also have back here some of the winter clothes stored, and our storm sails. They're like tiny. Oh, look here, another fan. We love fans. This is Ryan's old board, and it's now my board. It's my job actually to go ahead and check to make sure that they're still full. I take them out, I shake them, dust them off, and each of them have a little light as well, and I make sure and I check them that they're still working.
This is where Nicole and I spend a lot of our time together, but you can see how I'm sitting now, and you can use your imagination and maybe understand why there's a little bit of gymnastics involved in being in a relationship on a boat. In the morning and at night when I wake up, I'm usually kind of in a good amount of pain because of the muscle imbalance that I have now. So I'll usually go into a yoga position called down dog, and then Nicole comes and she scratches my head. And usually I like to pretend she's doing it because she thinks it feels good, but sometimes I feel like she's like thinks I'm like her pet. You become so personally attached to your boat. It's sort of almost like a third person in your marriage almost. And it's difficult to kind of just pull out little sections and show them, because every little thing on the boat, there's an adventure behind it, or a story, or you know, you had the work that went into installing it. You know, there's this really deep personal connection to boats that's really hard to explain. If there's anything in particular that you wanted to know more about, please leave it below. This is a great time to give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Please note, for those of you that are on the fence, there was no rap music, there was no pube shaving. I didn't even mention the word pube. I just mentioned the word pube.
You did twice now.
There was no profanity. Did I even curse?
You did.
I did?
You said the F word.
When?
I think maybe in the nav station area. I don't really remember.
Shit. There's very little profanity. Those of you that are watching it are the core fans. You're our audience, and we do this for you. So we really appreciate when you let us know what you think. Do you guys want to see a video about the deck? Happy to share that. Let us know. Now I'm thinking about like all the places on the boat where we've had sex. Thanks for watching.